All right, so here are the tools you're going to need to do this repair. You're going to need a VOM meter, nose pliers and dikes, and a crimping tool, and then you're going to need two terminals, and those terminals are blue color, which indicates that they're 16 to 14 gauge crimps. And then you're going to need the thermofused. And here's the numbers that I've got off of it. And you can purchase this thermofused on eBay. And I see if I can provide the link for you on the description below. Again, I apologize that I've already made this repair, but I didn't see any other video anywhere else that described how to do this repair. Okay? So now let me show you what you'll need to do. So what you need to do with these terminals is that you need to just cut off the blue insulator on each side. And the reason you want to do that is that you're trying to make this repair to look as close as possible as the original. And unfortunately, you can't solder the ends of these two fuses because they're thermal fuses and they get heated up very hot. So what you want to do is take a pair of dikes and just make 4 incisions here, 1, 2, 3, 4 on each end, and then use a nose plier and the cutters. You'll use the nose plier to hold the terminal, and then you'll pull this blue insulator off. And a good way to hold it is probably like so. I just hold it at that end. I guess you get the point. Just hold it at that end, and then pull the blue insulator off. Once you've done that, then what you want to do is cut off this round terminal end just to this point. And unfortunately, I'm holding the camera, so I can't show you, but I'll try to put it in a position where I would. So I would cut that part off, this part with the hole, just cut that part off. And then what will happen is you'll have two small pieces that you can use to crimp on the wire and this fuse so that it looks like the original. And you'll have that when you open up the steam mop. Okay, just to be a little bit more precise, what you see here is the terminal, and this is what you're really after is the barrel that's inserted inside of that insulator. And you notice I cut off the terminal end of it. So you're left with this barrel, and that's what you want because the original connection for that thermal fuse is a crimp, just like this one. And this is the one I took off where the thermal fuse was located. You can see it's a crimp. So what you're doing is replacing this one that you just made with that. And what you do, let's see if I can get this set up for you. Okay, here it is. And what you want to do is you want to stick one end of the fuse into the crimp, and then you want to insert the wire to one end. But you'll see this because when you actually open up the unit, you'll see where this thermal fuse is, and you'll understand how to do it. That's it. Okay, YouTubers, we're looking at repairing a Sharp Steam Mop S3101. And the symptoms that I had here was that it was not powering on at all. The green LED was not coming up. And unfortunately for you guys, I've already repaired it. But what I did want to show you was how I detected the problem and what I replaced to make it work. All right, so let's go. Let's first start with how I detected the problem. The first thing I did was to put a voltmeter, actually a VOM meter, across the power supply cable and across the jack. Let's move up there and I'll show you what I mean. So here's my trusted VOM meter, and what I did was I went across it. I went across the prongs here, and let's turn on the voltmeter here. Now, mind you now that I've already repaired this, but just to show you what I did, I put the voltmeter on, or the VOM meter to be more precise, and I went across it. So I went across both leads there, and you'll see that right now I'm reading about 9.5 ohms. So you should be getting, if your Sharp Steam Mop is in good working order, you should get somewhere around 10 ohms, all right? I just happen to get 9.5, but anywhere around 10 ohms, it's fine. Now, what had happened before was that this was open, so I got a 0L on this meter, all right? And that told me that I had a problem. So I'm going to simulate it just so that you can see what I should have gotten when this thing was open. All right, so that's what I got when I had the problem with this steam mop. I got a 0L or out of limits or off limits, whatever you wish to interpret it as. And that's what I did. Okay, so next I'll show you some pictures that I had of the part that I replaced inside and show you what part you need to get and where you can get it. Okay, so let's go look in the back of this unit and show you the screws that you need to remove to get to the steaming part of this unit. All right, here's the rear of the unit, and as you can see, there are about 4 screws that you need to remove. There's one down in this area, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You remove those screws, and what happens is that this cover and the tank both come out. Once you have that, then I'll switch over and show you the photos of the part that I suspect you're having a problem with if you had 0L or no ohms across the prongs there. So in this picture, you're looking at the thermofuse, and to the left of it, you can see a white clear insulation. Now, this thermofuse is located on top of a gray tank where the actual steam is produced. So when you open the mop, you will see a gray tank, a large gray tank. To each side of the tank, there's 2 screws. And all you need to do is loosen the screws on both sides, and that would loosen the tank enough to get it out. You don't have to disconnect or make any disconnections. Now, on top of the tank, there will be a clamp that holds this thermofuse. The thermofuse will be wrapped around a yellow cellophane, and it would be very pronounced and very easy for you to find it. There is a clamp that holds the thermofuse, and what you're going to do is remove the screw that holds the thermofuse down on the tank. And it's safe to remove that screw. Once you remove the clamp, then you can very carefully unwind the cellophane, the yellow cellophane film, and then slide this clear vinyl sheathing off to the right, to the left in my case, and you'll expose the thermofuse as you're seeing it here. And there's what you're going to replace. You will clip the ends of the thermofuse and then use the barrels that you've made in the first part of this video to reconnect the new thermofuse to the wire as you see it. And then the reverse is the installation. You want to slide that clear vinyl back on, wrap the thermofuse with the yellow cellophane, and then clamp it up with the screw that you removed and tighten it up on top of the tank, and then just reassemble the steam mop.